Prime Television. It's Friday and we are here as usual to wrap up the week with you. And on today's edition of the program, we are interested in the attack at the Bakassi Peninsula in the southwest region of the country, where Biafra separatist groups have attacked a locality in that part of the country, bringing down or pulling down Cameroon's flag and hoisting that of or those of the SET movement and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We shall be telling you more about that, and equally the attack in the northwest region of the country, talking about separatist movements also causing a lot of havoc, and also kidnapping of workers at construction site in Boya, chief town of the southwest region of Cameroon. That was on Monday by the SET militant or militant of the SET groups, the separatist fighters who are operating in that part of the country. Thank you for joining televiewers. Let's find out what the French newspapers have for us this morning with Etape Quentin. Bonjour Etape.
Bonjour, la Kinsili, politique, économique, santé et l'éducation sont les différents thèmes qui écument les unes des journaux présents en kiosque ce matin. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour à tous et bienvenue à cette grande revue de presse de votre émission Débrief, édition de ce vendredi 20 août 2021. Ouvrons très rapidement avec le quotidien Info Matin qui nous parle de l'administration publique et titre à sa grande une Cyrus Ngor et l'habitude du faux. À la page 3 de sa parution, l'on peut lire le décryptage de nos confrères sur la façon dont l'ancien président national des jeunes de l'ANDP avait été définitivement admis en 1996 à l'ENAM sans avoir été préalablement admissible. C'était par magie, sorcellerie ou réseau? C'est la question qui se pose. En tout cas, vous aurez dans ce journal des réponses. Donc on ferme ce tabloïd pour ouvrir le quotidien La République qui s'intéresse plutôt à la politique. Session RDPC de Yaoundé 3, l'ambition suicidaire. C'est d'ailleurs le titre que le journal propose à sa grande une. Plus loin dans les explications, l'on apprend ce matin que le maire de la ville de Yaoundé, Luc Merci Atangana, n'économise pas ses efforts pour conquérir la cession de cette unité du parti proche du pouvoir, au mépris de la note du président national selon les sources sûres citées par le journal de Timothée et Somba Abena. Pour atteindre son objectif, Luc Messia Tangana aurait promis des marchés publics en cascade dans la communauté urbaine à tous ses potentiels soutiens. Informations à lire en détail dans cette livraison en kiosque ce matin. Continuons notre exercice en éducation avec le tri hebdomadaire, le journal Le Soir, qui évoque en sa grande une programme d'appui à la réforme de l'éducation au Cameroun. 2 500 000 manuels scolaires pour 13 000 écoles publiques selon le journal d'Aman Bianda. Le coordonnateur du PAREC, Ambroise Owotogo Ongene, informe que la deuxième phase de distribution gratuite de cet important don offert par le gouvernement est en vue dans toutes les écoles primaires publiques du Cameroun après le lancement officiel de cette année scolaire 2021-2022. Cette méthode vise à rendre les fournitures scolaires accessibles aux couches vulnérables ou bien défavorisées. Un dossier à retrouver dans les colonnes de la page 5 de ce journal en kiosque ce matin. Et puis parlons de la santé pour terminer avec le journal La Nouvelle Expression qui affiche justement à sa grande une lutte anti-coronavirus, le pape dans la campagne. Si l'on s'en tient à cette publication de nos confrères, le souverain pontife encourage les fidèles à se faire vacciner parce que c'est un acte d'amour, dit-il. Cette information a été relayée dans un message vidéo inscrit dans le cadre d'une campagne d'investigation ou bien d'une campagne d'invitation à la vaccination. En tout cas, vous la retrouverez de façon développée à la page 5 de ce journal en kiosque ce matin. Mesdames et messieurs, c'est ainsi que nous terminons cette revue de presse en langue française. Place actuellement à la découverte de cette tabloïd en anglais avec toi, Lasha Kinsley. Bonjour.
Thank you, Etape Quentin, and a happy weekend to you as well. And televiewers, let's kickstart with the Lone English Daily, the Guardian posted newspaper. As I did tell you at the beginning of this program, program, separatists or Biafran separatist group have attacked a locality in Bakassi Peninsula in the southwest region of Cameroon. The paper writes in one of its major headlines that Nigerian separatist group attacks Bakassi, pulls down Cameroon flag. The paper goes ahead to say the armed men believed to be members of a Nigerian separatist movement have staged attacks in parts of the Bakassi Peninsula, an oil-rich territory ceded to Cameroon. A state government or a state statement has confirmed that the group known as the Biafra Nations League, BNL, confirmed the attack in a statement and said Cameroon's national flag was removed from Abana, that's the locality where the attack took place, Abana, and former headquarters of Bakassi Peninsula. And leading Nigerian newspaper Daily Post quoted the head of operations of the separatist movement, Henry Edey, as saying, "We have gathered that the action was carried out last night by militias loyal to the group following threats by BNL to remove billboards bearing the Republic of Cameroon." This is coming a day after the visit of the national leader of the BNL, Prince Will Chimezie Richards, took place. You can get more details about what actually happened in that locality in Bakassi Peninsula in the southwest region of Cameroon only in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post is also telling us that 15 construction workers have been kidnapped in Boya by suspected Amba fighters. The kidnapping took place last Monday, which of course was a public holiday in the country. The paper says the 15 workers of some construction site were on Monday, August 16, kidnapped and taken to the bushes for ransom. That's what the paper is telling us. The incident occurred in Ewogo, a locality or a village in Boya subdivision, southwest region of Cameroon. Monday, which was a national public holiday declared by President Paul Biya of the Republic of Cameroon, coincided with the separatist imposed ghost town operation, which has been on in the country's northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon for years now. You can get more details about the kidnapping and the whereabouts of the said 15 construction workers only in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post is also telling us that CDC board chair has urged government to prioritize corporation's revival. The board chair of Cameroon Development Corporation, CDC, Hope Sona Ebae, has urged the government of Cameroon to make sure that much attention is tilted towards the revival of the ailing corporation. Speaking at the close of a board meeting Wednesday, August 18, Sona Ebae appreciated government's support so far, but appealed for much to be done to bring the corporation or the company back to its feet. More details on page 2 of this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. On to Emergence. Emergence is telling us this morning, or relaying the recent statistics published by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, telling us that 32 persons have reported or are now known to have died, and 19 villages burnt down following confrontations between two communities in Logon and Shari division, far north region of the country. More details on page 5 of this edition of Emergence newspaper. We end with Echo Santé newspaper, which is calling the attention of young Cameroonians this morning as to a phenomenon the paper described as disguised prostitution, otherwise known as sugar daddy and sugar mommy's phenomenon. You can get more details about what is happening, as the paper is warning that this phenomenon, that youths expose themselves to some sexually transmissible diseases, and is warning the youths that on no reason should they indulge in such practices, as it is detrimental to their health. You can get more details in this edition of Echo Santé newspaper, talking about the phenomenon of sugar daddies and mommies, only in this edition of the Eco Sante newspaper. Let's also take you to Kade in the Far North region of the country, where over 18,000 children are not declared or have not been declared at birth. The paper is telling us that there are over 18,000 of them who have not been declared at birth, meaning that these children don't have birth certificate. There are over 18,000 of them in Kade division in the Far North region of Cameroon, as we are told. Thank you for staying with us, televiewers. Let's come back to the studio to continue with our discussions this morning. Tape Kante.
D'accord. Voilà, bonjour à toi. Merci de nous rejoindre sur ce plateau pour discuter avec vous affaires d'actualité.
Bonjour, Kante.
Je rappelle que tu es journaliste. Eh bien, on commence justement avec ce journal qui nous renseigne sur le don du gouvernement pour les élèves du primaire de la section 2021-2022, dont on parle comme ça de la rentrée scolaire. Il s'agit de 2 500 000 fournitures scolaires ou bien manuels scolaires à 13 000 élèves. Quelle appréciation pouvez-vous apporter?
I think the gifts just came at the right time, at the time when parents have been financially crippled because of the COVID-19 pandemic that has been eating up our society and the economy in general. I think that these gifts come in at the right time to help parents to prepare for the back-to-school period of their children. But however, I believe that the people who are giving these donations, they should be able to follow up, should do a follow-up such that the gifts get to the right children. Because most of the times we see that they give donations like this, but at the end of the year or at some point along the school year, we don't even know how these donations were distributed among these kids. So we just want to pray that the donors make sure, they ensure that the gifts reach the target. Yes, they should make sure that there is no embezzlement of the gift, there's no embezzlement of funds. They should just ensure that the gifts reach the children as it has been stated.
Et quelle est la cible qu'on devrait toucher essentiellement?
I think we should look at the kids that have been displaced,
yes.
The IDPs, the kids that have been displaced from the crisis-stricken zones, like the northwest and southwest, from the north as well. And then if there is some budget left, they can also think about the interior parts of the country, these areas where kids don't even have books, the basic necessities, books, pens. After dealing with the IDPs from the northwest and southwest, and also those from the north region, yes, we can also look at the interior, look at those places where children barely have the necessary equipment to start school.
Okay, Joy Ngong, let's stay with education and talk about this appeal or this call coming from the president of the Northwest House of Chiefs, from Kevin Yakum. He made the appeal that was on August 18, calling on his peers to make sure that they preach peace and ensure that school resumption in the northwest region of the country is smooth. The question I want to ask you this morning, most of the funds are no longer living in their palaces. Are they going to achieve this? Are they going to do it?
That's actually the question. Because most of these people calling for peace, calling for back to school resumption, their kids are no longer in the regions. Most of them have moved to the other parts of the country, Douala, Yaoundé to be specific, and they are calling for peace. And this call has been made, it's not just this year. Last year the call was made, 2 years ago the call was made as well. So I believe that while they are making this call, they should also ensure the safety of these kids. Not just asking kids to go back to school, but equally making sure that as they are going back to school, they are secure, they are safe. Because kids will go back to school. Of course, they will go back to school because it is their legal right to education. But while they are going back to school, we see children are being kidnapped. You know, children are being kidnapped in the regions, and also the gunshot and everything, it scares children away. So while they are calling for peaceful resumption, I think that they should also try to call for, or maybe disarmament, they look for solutions to the end of the crisis, because just calling for peace, calling for peaceful resumption, it doesn't this fund of the northwest, or funds of the northwest region of the country, do they really need to federate and ensure that they preach peace? Is it not time for those who are carrying the guns to know that even as they are carrying the guns, even if they have their country, their kids will have to take over the country and rule like literate people? Not only
they have illiterates to be ruling
funds that maybe phones that want to call for peace are being kidnapped. Phones that want to take sides, let me not say the side they are taking, but phones that want to take sides are being kidnapped by one force or the other. So at the end of the day, I think that looking for a long-lasting solution to the crisis is better than just sitting in your office or sitting in your house.
But what about these separatists? I'm
peace.
talking about these separatists. Why can they not also have a second thought? Why should they use the school as their weapon? Why don't they allow the children
has taken a
to
turn.
go back to school so that they can acquire knowledge? Imagine 5 years ago, children who were supposed to be probably in Form 5, they were in Form 1. They were supposed to be in Form 5 this year. They are still lagging behind.
But
most of them can barely read and write now. So
why
why is it that the separatists cannot allow these kids to go to school? Why should the fund even federate?
The crisis has taken a turn that we are no longer in control. No, I don't think anybody is in control at this point. The turning point that this Anglophone crisis has taken, because we even see that even the separatists who call for a peaceful resumption, but still the same separatists are the ones...
Because they are not in harmony.
That's the problem.
There are so many
think
camps.
that the only way to ensure a peaceful back to school for our kids is just to find a long-lasting solution to the crisis.
Okay, let me take you to Bakassi, where we are told by the Guardian Post newspaper that Biafran separatist group, they have attacked a locality in that area, and they have pulled down the flag, the Cameroonian flag, and hoisted theirs as well as that of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And recently we saw Minister Felix Mbanyu at the Abuja State House with President Muhammadu Buhari, and they took new commitment in ensuring that they wipe out separatist movements in Nigeria and in Cameroon. So what is happening that we still have this kind of issue when they have taken the set commitment to ensure that we don't have things like that?
Lasha Kingsley, I think at this point I would say that the Biafra Nations League is really trying so hard to put Bakassi Peninsula into total chaos, because one of their complaints, I believe they are complaining that the Cameroon government or the administration in charge of Bakassi, they are not treating the citizens right. They are not treating the minority population that is left there. They are not treating them right. So what guarantees us, or what guarantees the citizens that the Biafrans are going to treat them better? And
no, but from the Green Tree Accord that former President Olusegun Obasanjo, alongside President Paul Biya, they worked so hard to ensure that there was a peaceful resolution of the conflict between Cameroon. But it was already handed to Cameroon.
It was already Cameroonian territory. So that Yakubu Gowon literally sold out to Cameroon in order to win the war at the time. Yes. So I still don't understand why the Biafrans are trying so hard, the Biafran Nations League, they are trying so hard to take control of
the boundary has been drawn. There's international
I don't understand why they are
there.
trying so hard to take control of a territory that has been legally handed over to Cameroon. I don't get why. And thanks to the Cameroon defense forces that are present in that area that actually prevented the hoisting of the Biafran flag at that part of the country. And we believe that with the forces present there, we are going to actually ensure that we are.
Is it not a wake-up call for President Buhari to do something, to probably a joint task force for that matter to be able to secure?
Yes, I think that negotiations are really on course for that joint task force, and like I said earlier, the defense forces are doing a lot already to ensure that this territory stays as a Cameroon property that it has always been. And at this point, I believe also that the joint task force negotiations are currently going on to make sure that this territory stays Cameroonian.
D'accord. On apprend également que le coronavirus ne fait que s'accroître dans la société mondiale et particulièrement au Cameroun. On a le variant Delta qui ne cesse de grandir. En tout cas, le pape a donné l'appel à ses fidèles de se vacciner. Voilà. Comment parvenir à convaincre, n'est-ce pas, les Camerounais pour adhérer à cette méthode qui vise justement à éradiquer le coronavirus?
Kaja Itape, I believe that they say salvation is personal.
Yes.
You know, it is not somebody who has to tell you to take care of yourself. Nobody has to force you to treat yourself. Nobody has to force you to take the coronavirus vaccine. With the turn that this coronavirus is already taking,
Yes.
I believe that Cameroonians have to be conscious of the fact that they need to get vaccinated. Let us even keep the vaccine aside. They need to even respect the preventive measures that was already put in place. You know, wearing of face masks, washing of hands, using the usage of hand sanitizers. I think that it is time for Cameroonians to be conscious that this is a reality. Yesterday, the South African government signed a decree, agreed for citizens from 18 to 34 years to be able to take the coronavirus vaccine. I believe that if Africans are really, you know, reducing the age limit, because when the vaccine came, it was for the old and the sick, but now they're already bringing down the age limit to 18. I believe that Cameroonians have to be conscious of the realities of this virus, and they seriously have to take vaccinations. On the street, Cameroonians will tell you that I'm not going to travel to anywhere, I'll not have to need the vaccine. They will eventually need it at some point, and we should not wait until it gets to that.
L'importance du vaccin.
Exactly, that's the thing, and Cameroonians should know that the vaccine, it is not to treat corona, it is to prevent the circulation of the virus in you. So even if you catch coronavirus while you have the vaccine, you will not be able to circulate as it would if you did not have the vaccine or if you had not been vaccinated. I think Cameroonians have to be conscious of that.
Okay, Joe, let's end with this headline done for us this morning. Let me put it this way: a piece of advice for young Cameroonians and youths out there, done for us by Eco Sante newspaper, talking about this phenomenon of what the paper terms disguised prostitution, or otherwise known as sugar daddy or mommy phenomenon. And the paper is warning that this thing comes with a lot of devastating consequences, health consequences, such as sexually transmissible diseases. You are a young woman, and this message probably cuts across to everybody. What do you have to say to that?
I think what we have in play here is the aspect of competition. I think our youths are in so much competition, and they are under so much pressure from their peers and from social media. So they first of all you have to realize that social media life is different from the day-to-day life. Maybe that person, that influencer that you want to so much be like, if that influencer has gotten stuff that you so much want to get, you don't know what that influencer is doing to have what he or she has. I think that youth have to take off this mindset of competing with their peers, and we because most of the time this aspect of sugar daddies or sugar mommies, as we say, it is for wealth, for quick wealth, to have easy finance.
It is both ways. You have young boys
as well. We have sugar mommies.
Yes.
So I think that our youths have to take up this mindset of competition, of acquiring quick wealth, and we will not have this aspect of sugar daddies. As we know the consequences of all these things, they go into it knowing fully well what they are in for, but just the fact that they want to be at the same level with that friend that they have seen, or they want to be at the same level with that influencer on social media, they still get into it either way. So I think that youth have to take away this mindset of competition, and it's going to reduce the rate of this sugar mommy, sugar daddy phenomenon. Okay,
we are equally told by Eco Sante newspaper that in Kade division, we are in the 21st century. I see very surprisingly, shockingly, over 18,000 children not declared at birth. They are without birth certificate, if we have to put it that way. So what is happening that at this time we still have children that are without birth certificate? They are born in hospital, they are not even declared. They don't. So Cameroonians don't even have, or the Cameroonian authorities don't even have the statistics concerning this kind of children.
I would say it is an aspect of negligence, complete negligence. Negligence from the part of the hospital authorities, negligence from the part of the administrators, and negligence on the part of the parents as well. Because back in the days when you give birth at a hospital, the hospital takes down the child's information, and you take a card from the hospital directly to the civil authority.
The status registry.
Yes, exactly. So if this phenomenon has changed onto there are over 18,000 children from the same part of a particular region.
A division,
from a single, how many children are first of all in that division? So I think that this is an issue of total negligence from the part of the parents, the authorities, as well as the hospital personnel.
So what should be done done rapidly, 30 seconds, what should be
maybe a massive registration of these kits. They should begin with that, a massive registration of these kits, and also the authorities should make sure that these parents
birth certificate should be mandatory at the hospital,
should be mandatory at birth. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Joy Ngong, for coming. It was a pleasure having you. Do have a great weekend. Hopefully we'll be with you on Monday. Etapé Kanten,
Voilà,
thank you too for coming.
c'est moi qui remercie nous téléspectateurs et en plus Joss qui nous avait rejoint sur ce plateau pour discuter avec nous avec d'actualité. En tout cas, on a tout simplement allé dire de se rendre dans les kiosques et acheter les tabloïds pour lire et s'informer.
The program was produced by Christian Tebon for presentation. We've been Etapé Kanten and myself, Lasha Kingsley. Do have a great weekend. See you on Monday, God willing. Bye-bye.